Hi, and welcome to another edition of ADHDIY, where I am completely avoiding the stuff that I'm supposed to be doing, like building that damn robot arm, and instead have been obsessing over some stupid little things to do with Arduino, or in this case, the ESP8266. In this case, I decided that I really need to know what the price of Bitcoin is. And I mean, if only this, maybe I need to get another camera. So, if you think I need another camera, let's get 100 likes on this, and 100 likes, and I will go out and buy myself a professional camera. Just because I need an excuse to make my wife allow me to spend that money. I really don't think I'm going to get 100 likes. Maybe I can get 100 people I know to just like it, and then I can just take it to my wife and say, I need a camera. Anyways, let's see if I can get this to focus. Come on. Come on. There we go. All right, so what we have here is just your simple ESP8266, which is basically an Arduino with Wi Fi built into it, connected to that same OLED that I've been using in my last project. And it's set to connect to my local network and download every 10 seconds or so the current price of Bitcoin. Yeah, I know I'm about a year late on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's tanked, but hey, it's back up about 8 grand. So let's see if we can ride that going higher. Feel free to send me some Bitcoin. I wish I had some. Anyways, also underneath there, because it's something I can afford, we also have some Dogecoin. So what this does is it goes in every every 10 seconds. It hits up an API. It downloads the JSON file for the current price of Bitcoin and Dogecoin, and then displays it nicely on the display here with some neat little Bitcoin and Dogecoin symbols. Now, I showed you in the last video how you can download an SVG, convert it into a BMP file, and that then you can use as an icon within your projects. So I'm not going to go over that. You can feel free. If I feel like it, I'll put a link to the previous video or something in there. But what I do want to do is I want to do a quick overview of the code so that you guys can take a look and figure out how I did it and do it yourself. Also, there's going to be a link to my GitHub with the code there as well. Now, obviously, like everything I do, this is half-assed, and it's also a bunch of cobbled together stuff from other locations. Now, I did put some links in the code, and I'm also going to put those links in the description below that will allow you to see the other people that actually know what they're doing and how I took what they did and I mashed it all together to do what I wanted to do. I wish I still had the original instructions that I found for how to do the conversion for the images, but that was years ago when I actually was trying. All right, so anyways, so we're going to take a quick look at the code and we'll start up here with the libraries. Many of these libraries are ones that I think there's a couple in here I don't even need anymore, but the first one I'm going to point out to you here is the Wi-Fi manager. This is actually pretty important. This is a library that you could download from in your Arduino IDE. You'll also notice instead of the Arduino IDE, actually I am using Visual Studio 2019 with a plugin. If I can remember the name, I think it's called like V Micro Arduino or something like that. I'll try to put a link to that also in the description. I've been using this now for the last 2 weeks or so, and it's actually been amazing because Arduino is great, but their development system for anybody that's not like super good at programming really is terrible. This gives me the autocompletes that I like. It does the code checking that I like. It's so much better than using the Arduino IDE. You just have to dish out a couple $100 for Visual Studio, and it mentioned somewhere in the description that there was a cost for this, but I couldn't find anywhere to pay it. And it was something ridiculously small, like $20 a year. So eventually it's either going to stop working for me and tell me how I can pay them, or I will continue using it. All right. So, anyways, so first thing we see here, Wi-Fi manager. Also, we're using some strings. This is your ESP8266 Wi-Fi and HTTP client, which I don't think. Yeah, I think I need that for the gets. There's another Wi-Fi client. Arduino JSON. That's what I'm using to parse the JSON files as they come in. This here is the library that we use for the OLED. This is a definition because of the size of the JSON file that I get in. This just allows me to have larger sizes. Again, these two here are part of that UG or U8G2 library. Although I think it's supposed to be U Infinity G2 or something weird like that. And this is part of it as well. So this is where we declare what type of screen that we're using and what pins that we're using. You'll notice it's a little bit truncated there, a little different from the beginning. I don't know how it got different. I just cut and paste it from previous code because that's what real programmers do. All right, and then we got a time delay here. Basically, this is where we set it up so that every 10,000 milliseconds or 10 seconds, it's going to go and download. Again, here's some of the information that I used to do this. Here are two images. They're only 25 pixels by 25 pixels, so pretty tiny. But I think it's good enough. God, I wish my light was coming from a different direction. You guys must be dizzy watching that thing go in and out of focus. All right. Up next, this is just a cool little startup message. I did this because the Wi-Fi manager that I put in here allows you to store the Wi-Fi credentials in the ESP8266. It has a little tiny bit of onboard storage, which I found out, which is pretty awesome. I'm going to play with that later. I mean, I think it's just like a couple of megabytes, but still, that's pretty awesome to be able to store stuff there. And there'll be some cool things that I'm hoping I can do with that once I have that. But what this does is it tells you what the SSD is of the device, because you're going to go ahead and connect to it on your phone. And also the IP address that once it's connected that you're going to want to log into in order to connect the Wi-Fi. This is just another little message. I added the little brand splash screen. I should put that on the other projects. This was what will draw the price. So basically what you'll see here, we're initializing that we're creating a page. We are drawing the Bitcoin image. Then we're setting the font. And then we're drawing the Bitcoin price, which we passed in. Doing the same thing for the Dogecoin. And then we're displaying the image. And we're going to wait a second, because it's always good to wait. Here we get is our parsing of the price for Dogecoin, parsing of the price for the Bitcoin. Now, if you've ever used JSON, JSON's actually pretty awesome. It's stands for JavaScript Object SON node. No, JavaScript Object Notation. Okay, really what it is it's a text file representation of a data structure. So if we take a look over here, I'm actually going to stop this from running. I'll make that a little bit bigger. Okay, so here is actually the JSON file that I get when I ask for the price. This one's for Bitcoin. And so what you'll notice here is it gives me a status saying that it's successful. We have data, and in that data it just says it's network, and then prices, and then price. Now, I just decided to take the first price because I'm not really worried what the exact price is on every exchange. I just wanted a price. Okay, so what I do is I go ahead and I grab that price. I print it out to sorry. I should say here, first thing I do is I set the size of my document. Okay. And the JSON library gives you some ideas on how to do that. I went with 1,000. Probably doesn't need to be that big, but I had plenty of memory to work with. If it's not a JSON file, because that's what we're going to do here. That's what we're doing here is we're checking to see if it's a JSON file. If it's not a JSON file, I just print out the error over here into the serial display and move on. We'll try it again. It's easy fail. All it does is just blanks out the price. Okay. If it is a JSON file, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the string or character array, C string, whatever you want to call it, put it into T result, and I get that from the doc that I did over here. And I do that at data. So data here. And then under data we get prices. This here is the start of a JSON array. So I take the 0th node or the first node, and then I grab the price out of it. Okay? And I'm going to go ahead and print that out to serial and then return it as the result. All right, I do the exact same thing here for, this one's Bitcoin, that one was Dogecoin, same diff. All right, and here's my setup. All right, added this, so here's where I start the serial, so I can output stuff to a serial display, to the serial port that I could read it over here. We get the U8G2 begin. That starts my screen. U8G2 set display rotation. This flips it over if I decide I want it in another direction. I had a little box I was going to put in. It only fit one way, so that's why I added this in. It's no longer in the box. Come on. Come on. Let's focus. Focus. Ooh. There we go. So if I trigger this, it'll flip the display 180 degrees. I don't know why that print line's in there. We're going to go ahead and set the Wi-Fi mode. Turn on the Wi-Fi manager. This here is delete saved settings for test. Okay. So this here removes the save settings so you can make sure that the Wi-Fi manager is working. and you're able to put in new settings. Write the brand message, because, branding. Got to be on branding. We delay. We then write the startup message, which then tells the person that it's waiting to connect to Wi-Fi. Here's the SSID. Here's the IP address. Now, if there's already Wi-Fi credentials there, then it will automatically go ahead and immediately just go ahead and boot in, because that's what it's going to do here. Is it's going to test to see if it will connect. Okay, if it auto connects, great. If not, here's the SSID and here's the password. Isn't that the most secure password you've ever seen? Yeah, I'm great with secure passwords. That's why I can't get into my Facebook right now. And my sweet, sweet Oculus is now worthless. Anyways, let's talk about something more fun, like testing to see if we're connected. If the connection fails, it'll just go ahead and automatically reboot. All right. And otherwise, it'll pop up and just say, yep, we connected. So then we go ahead and tell you what, print out to the serial just for testing, what port we're connected to, and just let you know that the timer is set to 10 milliseconds, so the first update does not happen for 10 milliseconds. All right, and this is where probably a lot of the code that I don't even need anymore is, and that's in the loop. So basically what we do is we're going to create a couple of strings for the payload and the price. So basically, if more milliseconds if milliseconds minus last time is greater than the time delay, then check the status, make sure we're connected. We could probably send this back over here. And let's connect it back up so you can watch it. We do cool things in this background. Will you just stay focused? It's my fault because I'm sitting and getting in the way of the light. Oh, yeah, this is amazing, YouTube, I'm sure. Come on, come on. Come on. The magic of editing should mean that I can take that out. But probably going to speed this up until there we go. Now try not to let my shadow darken. Okay, so where were we? We're going to make sure we're connected to Wi-Fi. We are going to create a secure connection because this is an SSL site. And we'll just say, we don't give a shit. So what if it's secure? We don't care. If you don't do that, then you have to go through this whole thing where you figure out the SSL certificate, thumbprint, and get it in there. And then if it changes, it stops working. This way, literally, what are they going to do? Hack my system with this? Maybe that's how they got into my... Anyways. All right. So you may want to look into actually checking the HTTPS and, be a little bit more secure than I'm doing. All right. Here's where we're going to go ahead and connect to the API. And we're going to send the GET right here. We're going to check the code, and if the code is greater than 0, we go ahead and then check it again to make sure it's equal to the OK code. And if it is, we're going to get the payload, which is this JSON file over here. And then we're going to parse the price. All right. And if it's not good, we just boot it out and say, hey, this failed. Simple, easy peasy. We repeat that for Bitcoin. And then we make sure to shut down that HTTPS connection. If we're not able to connect to Wi-Fi, we just say connection failed. And then we draw the prices on the screen. So this is if we're not able to connect to HTTPS. And then this here is if it's while disconnected. And then we just reset last time. So relatively simple, relatively easy. So we're going to go ahead and just quickly upload this. Well, I don't know if we're going to upload this. Yeah, you know what? Let's just compile it and upload it. I'll just fast forward through this part. This is the thing that I hate about doing stuff with Arduino, is it takes so long for the tiniest programs to upload. Maybe at some point here I'll kind of show you what I do with the Raspberry Pi stuff, the Raspberry Pi Pico. All right, so what we have here, there's the splash screen, and now it's ready to connect. So all I have to do is, and this is going to ruin this, all right, is I come over here to my Wi-Fi, and there's coin display. Come on. I really need a different camera. I apologize. One of these, I'll get one. I swear. Again, 100 likes. I can convince my wife I can get a camera. Alright, so I'm connecting to the coin display. And it's connected. So I can come over here. Yes, I was looking up Eric Stoltz. Sue me. Also, taco seasoning. Make your own taco seasoning. I'm actually going... You know what? I have to do it. I will do a video on making taco seasoning. Because this is ADH DIY. Why would I be consistent with what I show? So anyways, we're going to go to 192.168.4.1. Go. Alright, we get this cool Wi-Fi manager display. Go ahead, configure Wi-Fi manager. So we're going to go ahead and connect to the Rock 3 lockdown. Alright, and well, you don't need to see my password, so I'll type that in, I'll seek it, and we'll go ahead and save it. Alright, and then we'll watch over here. And voila, it connects to Wi-Fi, and we get the current price. So, I mean, that's a nice, simple little project. I keep it up on my desk so I can, watch my savings go down the drain. Or, wishful thinking that I actually own some Bitcoin. You decide which one it's true. Anyways, this is Mike. I'm with ADH DIY. And half-assing things on the internet since 1996. We're finding new interests daily here at ADH DIY, so keep hyper-focusing. Later.